This is Nigeria, and we are Nigerians. How many of you can confidently tell me that you have spoken to your mothers about your love story or your love issues? In this episode, you will learn how to move away from an awkward situation. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lucy's Quick One. If you are coming from episode 1 and 2 of Skinny Girls in Transit season 7, welcome. This is me just focusing on the character Shalewale, aka Shalewa from Skinny Girls in Transit, and just following her journey and learning from her. Let's move to episode 3, where she finally goes to meet Mohammed's family, and it was very obvious. We could all see that the family was not really receptive of her, and that's because majorly they have their values and just feel like she doesn't fit in. It's almost like she's not equally yoked with Mohammed in this situation. So yes, Mohammed's sisters tried to like make her feel a bit comfortable, but it wasn't really working. So at the end of the day, Shalewa leaves the family gathering and goes home because she couldn't find Mohammed. And then we go into another part where Shalewa is home and she's already sad and she's like she doesn't know what she's doing. You know that kind of feeling where you don't even know what it is that you are doing or what you're not doing. And then Shalewa's mom comes in, and then there was this emotional scene where Shalewa could not really express herself and she just starts to cry. This is Nigeria, and we are Nigerians. How many of you can confidently tell me that you have spoken to your mothers about your love story or your love issues? Because I remember, I remember, like, I and my mom are very, very cool. But I remember the very first time I wanted to ask her about love. I remember how I was just going back and forth till when I finally asked her, and then I was surprised that she really answered me without anything. So, how many of you can confidently tell your parents what is going on in your love life? Anyways, going back to Shalewa, she goes, she's crying, her mom is comforting her, and I saw that as a very, very beautiful moment. Now moving on, Shalewa goes to see Tito, and then they were talking about this whole Mohammed situation, trying to patch things up. About she setting her up with Mohammed to see Mohammed, and then she was asking Shalewa, what do you want? That question, what do you want? Sometimes I think people know, but sometimes the ability to accept that truth is what actually affects some people. Now, the thing is, you already know that probably this thing may not really work out, but there are certain memories that you're still holding on to, and that's why you're still like in that particular space. Some people are just holding on to memories, not because of the current situation, but because of the past. And if they are able to like let go of that past, that's the only way you can move forward. So if you're having an awkward situation, like I said in the intro, and you're thinking about how to move away from that situation, it's best that you look at the situation and ask yourself, are you holding on to the person, or you're holding on to the probability of the person turning out to be what you want the person to be, or you're holding on to the memories? If it is neither of all the options I gave you, then probably you're still in the right place. But if you're holding on to the past and hoping the person will go back to the past, or you're hoping that the person will be who you want the person to be in your future, my dear, maybe it's time for space. Anyways, going back to Tito and Shalewa were talking, and then, after Tito asked Shalewa and Shalewa could not really give her an answer, Tito decides to give her advice, saying that she thinks that Shalewa loves Mohammed and Mohammed loves her. In that situation, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation whereby you have a love issue or you're in a relationship and you're already confused and you need like an outside opinion. Everybody will try to give you an advice based on their own experiences, or based on what they can see, or based on what they understand already. But at the end of the day, it is still you that will go into your bedroom and give yourself the advice or make a decision at the end of the day. So Tito is telling Shalewa, see, I think you guys can work it out, but can they really work it out? Now Mohammed now comes and calls Shalewa, and he says they need to meet. I already saw that this thing might just end because he said, I love you to Shalewa. And Shalewa did not respond. It took her a while, and then later she said, oh, I love you too. Now, towards the end of episode 3, we see that Shalewa and Chai and Mohammed are together talking, and then Mohammed is telling her that, it seems they don't want to accept her, and so he decided to leave his family for Shalewa and leave the inheritance and everything. And to Mohammed's surprise, he was expecting that Shalewa would be very happy and be like, oh my god, I'm so happy, oh my god, this is love, this must be love. But unfortunately, Shalewa is like, I don't think it's a wise decision for you to leave your family for me. At the present moment, you might feel that you have done the right thing, but along the line, years later, you might just regret your certain action. And at that point, Shalewa breaks up the relationship with Mohammed. Do you think that she was right to have done that, knowing that Mohammed had sacrificed so much for her, finally decided to stand up for her against his family, and then she's now saying, I don't think this can work out because of this move that you have made? Like, it's not going to just affect you, it's going to affect your mom, it's going to affect everything. Man, the end of that episode 3 was so emotional because Shalewa was crying and Mohammed was crying, and he was like, don't do this, don't do this. But what is not fixable is just not fixable. And then she said goodbye. We move on to episode 4. One episode that I think I cried twice while watching. And I will tell you why in the next episode. And I got you with more next time with my pretty face. You then, mwah! Bye.